What's up, cool cats and kittens? It's Uncle Mad here today with nephew Parker.
Getting lunch, and
then
we're going to a surprise.
Yeah, we got some special plans for today's video, but first we had to get some grub on, so we are getting the holy chicken blessed by the Lord himself of Chick-fil-A.
A lot of people say that.
All right, so before we hit the road to our destinations,
We got
do a quick food review. Parker, you got nuggets. How are your nuggets?
good. I ate that.
Nice. And I got the spicy sandwich, and I added cheese, pepper jack cheese, and bacon. Let's get a bite of that.
And I got a book, and I'm good at reading.
He is good at reading. Bone apple teas.
These chicken are good.
I agree. Good job, Chick-fil-A.
Yep, I like Chick-fil-A.
Finished up our delicious Jesus chicken. We are at the Nashville Super Speedway. Now, as Nashville's #1 NASCAR fan, as you can see by my hat and shirt, I wanted to come out here and check out the layout of the land because we got some big news here last week. The Nashville Super Speedway, after not hosting a race since 2011, will now next year host its first ever top-level NASCAR Cup Series race. And going a little bit even further back than 2011, that's the first time a top-level NASCAR race has been held in Nashville since 1984. That was the year I was born. Nobody even ever heard of you or thought of you back then. So I kind of want to come out and just check out the Speedway. I'd actually never been out here before. A little bit of the lay of the land, see what we might be in for when we return here. It's actually scheduled for June of next year, according to reports. And this is what we'd be working with here at the Nashville Super Speedway. It looks kind of facility closed. You can see those signs down there, so we won't really be able to get any closer than this, but yeah, we can still check it out and see what it looks like out here. Now, according to inside sources that I have within the NASCAR community, aka my dad, this racetrack seats about 50,000, and most of the tracks that host the top races host more like 70 to 100,000 fans. So this is a little bit smaller than what would typically host a NASCAR race. And that kind of made me wonder, maybe an anticipation of lower crowds still not being able to form, or larger crowds still not be able to form this time next year. Maybe it'll be easier for NASCAR to run events at the smaller tracks where if they're not allowed to have 100,000 fans in attendance, maybe it's just easier to come to smaller tracks like this one and run here. But, you know, I don't know. That's just something to think about. But as NASCAR's #1 fan, I'm definitely looking forward to them coming here. I hope to be in attendance for the first Nashville race since I was born. Parker, you want to go with me? You want to come to a NASCAR race with me? Sweet. There she is. Now, just a few years ago, the ownership group of the track had put in a bid or a request to the city, state government for about a $25 to $50 million tax bond to make improvements to the facility so that they could reopen it and try to convince NASCAR to come back here, because NASCAR hasn't run any type of race here since 2011. So it's very interesting. The state, city, whoever they were applying for, turned them down. They didn't get the money, and it's sat here dormant ever since. Well, still dormant. At one point in time, I believe I even heard that there was plans to actually just tear this down and redevelop the entire area. So it's interesting that it went from we need $50 million to redevelop the area, to build up the stadium, to get it to where people can come back to it. I keep saying stadium, but it's actually a track. But now here we are sometime later, and suddenly not only have they not gotten that investment of money, but NASCAR's decided to bring one of their top races here. I don't really understand the machinations behind that, but like I said, it could have something to do with the level of fans that would be able to be in attendance. What'd you find? It appears to be nothing. Could be just Nashville's grown as a tourist market, and NASCAR wants to get back into this market, so they're jumping at the chance. But I mean, you just think about it.
This is actually cool.
You've got a track. Yeah, that's pretty cool too. It's a piece of a taillight. It's gross. Put it down. You're gonna have to put a lot of hand sanitizer. I'm gonna just dose you in hand sanitizer when we leave here. But You'd have to think this track hasn't operated with the fans for an event in over 10 years. So there is going to have to be some kind of redevelopment, some kind of upgrades made to get it up to modern standards of a facility. So be interested to see where that money comes from, who makes the investment, and what they're going to do with it. Parker has now entered a different part of the thing. So I think that's going to wrap up all we're going to look at here. But we do have another destination I'd like to check out today, so let's head there. Before we left, I decided to drive around a bit, see if we could get a couple other angles of the facility. As you can see here, I think this used to be one of the entrances to the parking area. Kind of fenced off, walled off, closed down now, but we're gonna... Parker's also still eating his french fries. So we're gonna drive around a little bit more, see if we can see some more angles of the facility while we're out here. All right, now you can see from this, what I'm guessing may have been the main entrance back in the day. Maybe will be again. Kind of get a straight up view. Looking stare right up at the grandstands there. But everything, they've got concrete barriers here, keeping anybody from getting back in there and getting closer. I suppose we could walk up if we wanted to, but I think we've gotten basically everything we came for today. And if you ever want to send a letter to the racetrack, they've got a mailbox right there.
Yep.
So write them a letter if you want to. Now, one thing I neglected to mention while we were actually at the racetrack is the Nashville Super Speedway is not actually in Nashville. It's out in Lebanon, which is technically about a 40-minute drive from actual downtown Nashville. It's only about 20 minutes away from our house. We live a little closer to Lebanon where we live, so not a bad drive for us. But if you're a non-Nashvilleian race fan looking to come in town for the race, if you're staying at a hotel anywhere in the greater actual Nashville area, you're actually going to be quite a bit away from the actual racetrack. That's kind of interesting, but you know, that happens a lot with sports where a team or a facility will take on the name of the closest major city because, you know, the Nashville Super Speedway is probably going to attract more people than the Lebanon Super Speedway. No offense to Lebanon, of course. All right, for our next stop, we could not talk about NASCAR in Nashville without coming by the fairgrounds. But before we try to get over by the racetrack, I want to show everybody, if you haven't seen it yet, these are the new expo buildings that were built to house the flea market so that they could make way by tearing down the old ones for the new soccer stadium. Parker, I think you know somebody that works at the flea market, don't you?
My dad.
Oh, yeah. We'll probably come over here sometime and maybe do a video kind of exploring the flea market, seeing how it operates in the current circumstances, and maybe buy some stuff from the great supplier known as Pack Rats. Come over here sometime and do that, I think. That sounds like a fun video to make. Let's move on to a different part of the fairgrounds, though, and check out what else is around the facility. No, they moved it. The old flea market got torn down. See here? Everybody can see this is where they've begun demolition for the future Nashville soccer stadium. This pile of rubble right here actually used to be the fairgrounds arena where we saw many professional wrestling events back in the day. Those free Wednesday night TNA shows back in the day used to be awesome. Further over there, you can see the racetrack, but this is probably as close as we'll be able to get. And for reference, down there is the new facilities that we just saw a little bit ago.
My dad used to work.
He still works here, it's just in a different part of it now. But you can see demolition ongoing. And someday in the very near future, there will be a soccer stadium here. Progress. So even though I am Nashville's #1 NASCAR fan, I am still new to the sport, and I've learned some things in the last week or so since the news broke of the race coming here. Now, in my mind, I would think that newer, modern track would be the spot you'd want to have races at. Just a better facility, newer, more modern stuff. But, you know, the reaction from not only the racers, but also apparently from fans of the sport is they would have preferred to have the race out here at the Nashville Fairgrounds track. Seems a little odd to me, but it does have some benefits. It's obviously more centrally located, closer to the heart of actual Nashville, not way out in Lebanon like the other track was. But the one the racers and the fans seem to think is the plus is that the style of track that's out here at the fairgrounds makes for more exciting racing, faster paced, more lead changes, things like that. And the style of track that they have out at the super speedway is apparently leads to more boring races from what I've read on my inside sources. But, we'll see. I think I've read speculation that one of the reasons that they're bringing races back just to Nashville in general is to not only create more interest in the track out there, but to hopefully drive more interest in the track out here. So it could be a mutual thing where we get races out there, we get races out here. As a huge NASCAR fan, I'm happy just to have racing back in Nashville. How about you, Parker?
Good.
Good is what he said. I don't know if that's a response we were looking for necessarily, but
Amazing.
Amazing. But exciting things on the horizon for not only NASCAR fans, but for sports fans in general. We've had NASCAR and German soccer back for the last couple weeks.
And there's a dog park.
Yeah, there's a dog park. Closed right now, unfortunately. UFC's been rolling along. But we've got some more stuff coming back now. We've got, I believe, Spanish soccer starts this weekend. We've got English and Italian soccer starting the week after next. The NBA and the MLS have both officially worked out their plans for restarting. Both will be restarting by playing games and being housed at Walt Disney World's Wide World of Sports complex, which is kind of awesome. But they haven't given official dates for that yet, but it should be probably, based on speculation, sometime next month, mid to late July. So got that to look forward to in terms of American sporting leagues restarting. NWSL, the Women's Professional Soccer League here in America, is going to be playing their season in Salt Lake City, a tournament-style season out there. I believe that's also slated to start mid to late July. Hockey has unveiled its plan to come back, but once again, no specific dates or locations for them. A lot of speculation that it's going to be Vegas and possibly Edmonton as the two sites that might host hockey's playoffs, and that it would also be back mid to late July. So July seems to be the time we're going to start to get our American sporting leagues back. Baseball, unfortunately, seems to be deadlocked between a dispute between the owners and the players about how to fairly compensate the players if they come back for a shortened season. That one looks like it's going to be a lot harder to get that one up and off the ground. Baseball has the unfortunate situation of they're trying to figure out how to play their entire season in this unique circumstance, whereas basketball, hockey, MLS even got at least 2 games in before things kind of went sideways. So a lot less games for those leagues to try to figure out how to make up and where to play them. But sports are coming back. NASCAR is coming to Nashville a little over a year from now. So a lot to be excited about. Parker, are you excited?
Yeah.
What are you most excited for? What sport?
I'd say football.
He said football. Parker is most excited for football, which is, not coming back to the fall, but as things stand, it should be coming back as scheduled because it's got enough time to prepare and get things lined up, whereas the other sports, this just got dropped on them in the middle of their season. So yay, football. Can't wait for that. Now, speaking of football, though, that's an interesting you bring that up, Parker. A lot of people in the sports community are pointing to the date of September 20th and circling that on their calendars because that date has the potential to be one of the biggest sports days in history, because for the first time ever, we could have NFL regular season football, college football, NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, MLS soccer, European soccer, golf, baseball. I don't know.
I don't like golf.
Parker doesn't like golf. Golf's coming back this weekend. That's another one. I forgot to mention that. But September 20th, if everything kind of plays out the way people are hoping it does right now, could be the biggest sport day ever, because we could have every major sport playing big time significant games all on the same day. Could be a huge day. So mark it on your calendars, September 20th. But I think that's all we got today. Parker, you got anything else today?
No.
Nothing else from Parker.
Except it's Marvel Monday.
This is not Marvel Monday.
Oh.
Did we watch a movie? No, we didn't. What are you talking about? We've been going out to all the racetracks and stuff. He's probably confused because he's mostly in Marvel Mondays, but this is a special non-Marvel Monday appearance. Go over to my channel, though, because all the Marvel Monday movies are there. You can check them out. I'll put a link up here somewhere for you to jump over there and check out all of our previous Marvel Monday videos.
And subscribe, like, and hit that bell for notifications.
Subscribe, like, and hit that bell for notifications. Leave comments down below if you want to see me and Parker go to other places around town and check them out. I'm sure he's got nothing else to do. I got nothing else to do right now. Thank you guys as always. We got t-shirts, the link's down below. We actually have a Nephew Parker shirt now available for sale, so check that out if you haven't already.
And I just saw firemen.
And he just saw a fireman. Now, one of the benefits of what we did today, going to these stadiums and facilities that were closed, was it was very easy for us to do what we always say you're supposed to do at the end of this video and not get around other people. So we didn't even have to say it to any... I can't say it any better. Thanks as always. This road's really bumpy. See you next time.